Hi, I'm Jazz Tangcay, Senior Arsons Editor at Variety, and I'm thrilled to be here today for this conversation. Before we're joined by our guests, I want to let you know that the SAG-AFTRA Foundation is a nonprofit organization that relies entirely on donations to provide emergency assistance and free educational programs to SAG-AFTRA artists. This conversation is made possible thanks to the generosity of our supporters. Over the past year, the foundation has given over 6.5 million in COVID relief to more than 7,000 performers. If you're a SAG-AFTRA artist and need help, please ask, and if you can help, please give. Information can be found in the description of this video, and thank you for your support. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Mens-Sana Tamakloe. Hi, Mens.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, welcome to this SAG-AFTRA conversation. I just want to know, first of all, where you were when you found out you'd been nominated for an Emmy.
Do you know what? I was at work. I'm working on season 2 of Gangs of London, and we were setting up for a scene. One of the guys was doing a little stunt, and the director, Corin Hardy, came up to me and goes, "Congratulations!" Like, what? And he's like, "For your nomination." I'm like, what nomination? It's like, yeah, Emmy nomination. I'm like, yeah, all right. He got out his phone and he went he went through the message. I'm like, me? And he's like, yeah, you. And he's like, everybody, stop. I'm like, no, stop, no, don't do it. I know. And he's like, yeah, I just want to let you know that Men's has been nominated for a Emmy, and everyone started clapping. I'm like, oh, thank you. Honestly, it's so humbling. It's so humbling. And
Oh my
yeah, that's
gosh.
what I was at work on Gangs of
I
London, which is actually quite fitting.
I love that. And we're going to talk about that show in a second, but I'd love to know more about your career, like, how you got started and when did you realize that this could be a profession that you could actually get into and do?
When did I get started? I got started in 2008, but out here in the UK, they have like a register where you need to do different types of sports, and like, I didn't know anybody at all. I didn't know anybody, and I was like, okay, so what do I want to do? I want to be a stuntman because I want to do something mental and physical. So I looked into it. And I saw you had to do 6 different disciplines. I was like, it's going to take a while, and one of them was swimming, and like, I'm not a swimmer at all, and I couldn't swim. So I was like, how am I going to do this? So I had to get in the swimming pool twice a day, in the morning and the evening before work, for a year. And now out this course I had to do to become a stuntman. I had to do high diving, I had to do trampolining, I had to do rock climbing, martial arts, and scuba diving. And you have to get to like a professional level, like an instructor level, to be able to get on the register. And so that's what I had to do to become a stuntman. And when that happened, like 2008, when I passed all that, that wasn't even the hard part of it. The hard part was working, because you got to get yourself out there. You've got to go and meet coordinators and and they've got to learn to trust you, because they don't just trust any geek off the street. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, and like that's when the hard work really started, when I got onto the register.
Was there a film, like, before you even became aware of the register? Like, was there a film or a TV show that made you think, that made you aware of stunt? Because it's the hidden craft, right? Like, we're not, it's we're watching we're watching an actor, or we're watching a stunt performer, but you've got to sit through the credits to see who stands in for this actor. So, like, talk about growing up. And
well, there was a police story. There's a police story, Jackie Chan's police story, where I remember seeing where this bus comes to a stop, and these two guys come flying out the bus window and land on the ground. I'm like, oh, that must not hurt because you know they seem all right, but that was a big one. And then Rocky, I mean, it's not really stunty, but there's fights, and I used to like stop and pause it at moments like they'll swing and punch each other. I was like, they're missing each other, because it's all about camera angles as well, you know. Rocky was huge for me, and Beverly Hills Cop, like seeing Eddie Murphy, and like the first one, especially when he's hanging onto the side of the truck and like he's swinging around, hitting the truck and then coming back round, like that was a big one as well. And like he was a huge influence on me when I was growing up. Yeah, just like moments like that, and I'm like, maybe I could do something like that, but how do I get into it? Like I said, I didn't know anybody, and so I had to do my research, and I found out the British Stunt Register.
Yeah, and 108 credits. I think it's 108 credits. The last time I looked, that could change, you know, by the end of this conversation. But you know, 108 credits later, here we are.
Yeah, 108 credits. There are more, but yeah, I mean, it's been a 13-year career so far, and it's like I said, it's been brilliant. I cannot fault it. There's some amazing people I've met, some very, very talented actors and performers as well, on the British Stunt Register and off. So yeah, it's just, I've been truly blessed.
Love that. So, I mean, Gangs of London, I almost said Gangs of New York, but Gangs of London is so wild. It is such a great show. As somebody who grew up in London, you know, who lived there, you know, that show resonated. Like, it's just, but it escalates really quickly, especially in that first episode. It goes from here to here by the end of that. And the fight scenes are incredible. Talk about working on that series, and you know, for TV, the entertainment value factor of that show is equivalent to what we're seeing, right, in movies. So
I mean, Jude Poy and Chris Webb, they were the Jude Poy was stunt coordinator, Chris Webb was a fight coordinator, and they came up with some stuff I've never seen on TV before, and it blew my mind. Like, even the previs blew my mind. And then when they took the previs and put it to the actual shoot, I mean, it was like everything just coming towards, like magic, you know, like pure magic. And when Gareth Evans, being the director, he would like place it in, when he would get a shot on set, he would place it into the previs. So it was like his little Bible. He would basically follow it shot for shot. And like everyone was just like flabbergasted, just at the rough edit of it, you know. It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and like you cannot fault the guys for the action they've come up with. Just amazing.
Talk about a typical day for you. Like, talk about, you know, you mentioned the previs, like that process. What goes into the learning curve, or you know, to bring a sequence to life?
It's a lot of brainstorming. Like Jude and Chris would have most of the input into it, but it's just a lot of brainstorming, like what would work, what wouldn't work, how to work, what goes with the story, what doesn't go with the story, you know, how like Chope would move, Elliot would move, would he do this? Would he do that? You know, it's all got to interlink, because if it doesn't interlink, then it doesn't make any sense. So it's just a lot of brainstorming, and then trying, and then if it doesn't work, brainstorm again, then try it. It's a process, you know.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned Chope, who's brilliant in this series. It's such a great performance.
I've got to say, that guy has to be one of the best physical actors I've ever worked with in my entire life. He's just another level. He's amazing, and his attitude every time he comes on set, he's got a great attitude. He's just, I can't speak highly of the guy. He's just amazing.
Love it. But where is that line drawn between an actor wanting to go out there and be physical and get, down and do the work versus you stepping in? Like, break that down, like where that line is drawn.
Well, I mean, Chope is very capable to do his fights, but again, you got to think, okay, like there's a shot where Elliot gets thrown up against the wall, right? If that was Chope and he hurt himself, that's it with the production called off, right? So that's where I get called in, because if I was to get hurt, which it can happen, but if I was to get hurt, they can get someone else in, and so we're just protecting the actor, and that's what we need to do, and make sure when it comes to his fight, it's just like he always does. He puts everything into it, and we see that from his performance on Gangs of London in everything he does.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about how COVID, the one challenge for anybody last year was navigating in the pandemic, like how COVID actually affected your work and your process.
So I didn't work for like 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 months. I just spent time with the family and time at home with the family, and homeschooled the kids. Actually, to be honest with you, they homeschooled me. I learned much more than they did, trust me. I learned my times table. I learned to divide, subtraction. I'm telling you, if you want to know anything, I'll tell you now. I'm brilliant. But no, just homeschooled the kids, and we just got close as a family, I think, just had Friday night dance nights, and it was time off, and it was good, because sometimes you don't get time off with work, you work one job, you're on a run, and then another job comes along, you're on a run, and if you take time off, then you might have like 2 weeks here, then another 2 weeks there, another 2 weeks there, and it's just nice. It was nice spending time at home with the family, even though it was a really bad situation, like a terrible situation. You just got to make the best, stay positive, make the best out of your situation, and make sure your vibes are high and your love is high, and that's what we did. I feel,
Yeah, I mean, this, going back to Gangs of London, there's a lot of throwing around in, you're watching these sequences, and I'm like, how talk about getting mentally prepared for that, because it's not just physical. There's the mental preparation that you have to do of that. Like, what goes into that?
Well, I like to have a little warm up first, make sure I'm stretched and limber, and just like visualize like how I would hit the wall, or even though most of it wasn't down to me, but how I would hit the wall or how I would land, because I think that's half the battle, like being mentally prepared. And as a stuntman, you have to be mentally prepared. So that's the kind of thought process and focus that I would put myself through.
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself on the wrong end of a punch, or just having a throw landing go not disastrously wrong, but go wrong?
Touch wood. No. Right now, no. I can't think of any right now. No. Oh, no. Yes, no. I have been hit in the face with a sword. Yes. Yeah, I have been. It's just rehearsals, and we just come up with different things, and supposed to do a little slide, and a friend's supposed to go in my head, but he didn't go in my head. He hit my face. That's all. But it happens. It's no issues, no drama. It happens. We just got to be extra careful. That's all. It happens.
Yeah. So between, your film credits include Skyfall, Fast and Furious 6, and obviously, we're talking about Gangs of London. What is the difference, or is there a difference between doing stunt work for a movie versus a TV show? That, because with movies, how you can see the script, what's going to happen, whereas with a TV show, they're still writing or finishing episode 10 when you're on episode 1. Like, talk about that in terms of the stunt world.
TV is so much faster, like unbelievably faster. Like you go in, you get told you're doing this stunt, you do the stunt, and then you go home. With film, you get so much prep to do the stunt or do the fight, you know. But saying that, with Gangs of London, this was a bit different. This was a bit different to any TV I've worked on. We're allowed to have the previews, we're allowed to like have the rehearsals and then take it to set, you know. So this is the only production I've ever worked on, TV production, where we're allowed that time, and it's not just like, okay, shoot that, and done, you know. So that's what it was with Gangs of London, but nothing else as of yet.
Yeah.
But I think with Gangs of London, I think it might change the game, you know, for how other TV productions are shot. It might do, it may not, it might do. But knowing the success of it all, then hopefully it will. Because like you could just create so much with the time, like with film, with time and the energy put into something like Gangs of London.
Yeah. Why do you think Gangs of London resonated with American audiences? I can totally see why it would land well with British audiences.
Mm. Oh,
why? Yeah.
It's just I said it. It's just balletic violence. It's beautiful. Like, and the story. You feel for the characters. You know, you want to be I want to be Chopin. I want to be Elliot. You know, it touches people. It does touch people, and the action just adds that little icing on the cake, that little cherry on top. You know, it's just, like I said, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful violence, you know?
Yeah. And it's done so seamlessly because you can never tell. You can never tell when it's you and when it's Chopin. And that's what, you know, the real magic of that show is. But like, is there a scene or a sequence that really stands out from that first season that we're just like, I'm so proud that we did that?
Well, yeah, it's like in the Len fight, like with the Len fight with Lee Charles, 6-time like kickboxing champion, huge guy. He had to put on a bit of weight for the scene. When he threw me into the wall, I got up. I was like, okay, and they're like, go again, please. Okay, we'll go again. Did a couple more times. I walked over to the monitor to have a look. And there's Chopin, and he just gave me a big hug. And he's like, you alive? I'm like, yeah. And then that was, I realized then, like, how good it must have looked, you know, and that was, that touched my heart there. You know, and that must have been that little sequence there. That's my little proudest sequence, only because of him. I did him good. I did him proud.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally. On the opposite end, what was the toughest stunt for you to perform this season?
On
Gangs of London, yeah.
The toughest one. I would like to say, like, with the rehearsals, it was all quite seamless, you know? Like, as long as we got the rehearsals, which we did, it was all quite good. I know my capabilities. And when it comes to the shoot, I knew exactly what to do. So maybe if I was to say the hardest bit was the coldness of the Len fight, because we're likely in a den. So I knew it was cold. And he was just in boxer shorts, so he was freezing. And I was cold. I was in a jacket. And I hate the cold. So maybe that. But if I had to say that, it would be the elements, the atmosphere, the elements. And that's it. That's it.
Love that. And, you know, I mean, talk about how many hours a day or week do you have to train to keep the physicality of it all? Because it's a very physical profession that you're doing. And I think people need to be aware of.
Yeah, I train about 4 times a week. I've got a little home gym downstairs, so when I'm not doing nothing, I just roll out of bed and hit the gym. You know, I have a little run round and then just hit the gym. You know, just make sure I'm strong and prepared for anything which gets thrown at me. Really, so about 4 times a week, 45 minutes each day. In the day. That's about it, you know.
Yeah. And now, and you're ready for those water scenes too, now with the swimming and the diving.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that swimming test had to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, honestly. Like the hardest thing, especially not being able to swim as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your mentors and people that have led the way for you in this industry. Like, talk about your path and people who've opened the door for you along the way.
Well, like stunt coordinators.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say Wade Eastwood, who's a stunt coordinator of Mission Impossible. Greg Powell, he did Prince of Persia. Jude Poyer, who's a stunt coordinator of Gangs of London. Gary Powell, who's a Bond stunt coordinator. These guys just, well, without these guys, I'll probably be sitting here right now. You know, they've helped me out so much, and being a part, like I said, being a part of the British Stunt Register, working with all these different talents, they've all helped me out too. Every single one of them, every single one, and I can't thank them enough. You know, yeah, I can't thank them enough. And other influences, not even on the British Stunt Register, or like actors from back in the day, like Will Smith, Wesley Snipes. Seeing Wesley Snipes perform like in Passion 57, I was like, I want to be him. You know, yeah, just guys like that. Because back in my day when I grew up, I didn't have anyone looking like me on TV. If you understand what I'm saying, you know, there's hardly any black guys on TV. So when one black guy would come on, it's like, I definitely want to be like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. What advice would you give to, to people who want to get into the stunt, the world of stunt performance?
Be prepared to train hard, especially in the UK. Be prepared to train hard, because I said you've got 6 different things you've got to complete, and it took me 5 years, and I broke my Achilles tendon in between that as well. So you have to be focused. You have to be focused. If you're not focused, you will not do it at all. And you need to believe in yourself as well. Believe that you can do it, because you can. If I can pass the swim test, which I couldn't swim before, and I had to do it twice a day for a year, then I feel like anyone can do anything now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How has the world of stunt performance changed, or stunt performing changed since you first started out in, back in 2008, which isn't that long when you think about it, but.
Well, there's hardly any people of color, there's hardly any black people. But now over the years, it's good. It's a lot better, but we still need more. There's still not enough. We still need more. And, hopefully this may inspire someone to be like, do you know what? I want to try that as well. I want to do that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, when I first started, there wasn't really that many people of color doing it, and there's some pioneers like Morris Lee, who is one of the top stunt guys in the game, and now he's coordinating now as well. Morgan Johnson as well. Yeah, just guys like that I looked up to,
Yeah. And, you mentioned stunt coordination. Talk about the difference between stunt performance and stunt coordination. What is that distinction?
Well, stunt performers get told by stunt coordinators, go and do that. That's the difference. That's the difference. Stunt coordinators are there to make sure everything goes smoothly, make sure everything's prepped, make sure the guys are comfortable with exactly what they're doing, and stunt performers are there to do exactly what the stunt coordinator says.
Love that. Nice. You kept it so nice and simple.
Yeah,
Easy.
basically. That's it, yeah.
So what do you do to relax when you're not out there, training and keeping, your body in shape, or you're not, being tossed against a wall or like a washing machine?
Just spend time with my family and my kids, really. My kids keep me humble. They tell me when I'm being naughty. They tell me when I should go on the naughty board, the naughty step, and get a strike for not pronouncing my T's properly. They just keep me humble, my kids, and I don't know where I'll be without them, and my wife too, my beautiful wife.
Love that. So I know we've said it, but we've talked about how brilliant Gangs of London is. But for those who haven't seen the full season yet, what would you say to them to tune in, like a 1 minute lift pitch?
Watch it. I don't have a pitch. Just go watch it. Are you mad? Are you mad? Go watch it now. If you want to see some crazy action, some great acting, some explosions, some bullet hits, just go watch it. There's nothing I can say. You just have to watch it. You can't even explain how good it is, because you're not doing it justice. You're not doing any bit of justice. So just go watch it.
Perfect. Mens, thank you so much for that conversation. Thank you. And thank you to the audience for tuning in. And of course, thank you to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.